Donald Trump's recent announcement of a 25% tariff on Indian goods, plus an unspecified penalty for Indian trade with Russia, has sparked heated debate, labeling India a friend, but slamming its high tariff and obvious trade barriers. Trump's Truth Social post on July 30, 2025 also criticized India's purchase of Russian oil and weapons amid the Ukraine war. With trade talks stalled and a US Senate bill proposing 500% tariff on nations trading with Russia, will this push India closer to China or Russia? Here we know India's strategic balancing act. India has long maintained a delicate balance in global relations. Non-alignment rules. Since the Cold War, India's non-aligned policy has fostered ties with both Western powers and Russia, avoiding full alignment with any bloc. Russia ties. Now, Russia remains India's top arms supplier, with over 60% of its military equipment being Russia-made. Since 2022, Russia has also become India's largest oil supplier, accounting for over a third of its crude imports due to discounted prices post-Ukraine invasion. China relations. Now, despite border tensions, India and China share economic ties through BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, though trust remains low. US partnership. India is likely US ally in the Quad, with Japan and Australia to counter China. Bilateral trade reached $190 billion in 2024, with a goal to hit $500 billion by 2030. Trump's tariff shock. Now, on July 30, 2025, Trump announced a 25% tariff on Indian goods starting August 1, citing a $45.8 billion US trade deficit and India's high tariff, 12% trade-weighted average versus US 2.2%. He also threatened a penalty for Indian Russian oil and arms purchases, calling them enablers of Moscow's war in Ukraine. A proposed US Senate bill backed by Trump could impose up to 500% tariff on countries like India and China for trading with Russia. Economic impact? The tariffs could hit India's export like pharmaceutical and textile, potentially favoring competitors like Vietnam and Bangladesh. Indian consumers may face higher oil prices if Russian importers are disrupted. Diplomatic strain. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio called India's Russian oil purchase a point of irritation, despite acknowledging India's energy needs. India's response. India's Commerce Ministry is observing the tariff's implication, emphasizing a commitment to a fair trade deal. Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri dismissed concerns, noting India imports from 40 countries and complies with international norms. Indian officials argue that Russian oil purchases stabilizes global prices, benefiting all. Will India pivot to China or Russia? Unlikely full power. India's rivalry with China and strategic US ties make a complete shift unlikely. The Quad and US defense deals are critical for countering China. Strengthening BRICS ties. Tariffs may push India to deepen economic cooperation with Russia and China via BRICS, especially for energy and trade. Neutral stance. India's non-alignment policy would likely persist, imbalancing Russian oil imports with US negotiation. But what's next? Trump's August 7 executive order extended tariffs to 69 countries, including India. Effective August 7, with no trade deal finalized, India faces economic and diplomatic challenges. While closer BRICS ties are possible, India's strategic interest and US partnership will likely prevent a full alignment with China and Russia. That's all for now on this story. Stay tuned to the Savera. Download the app and follow us on various social media platforms.